stream, but it'll make things a little bit. Can you hear me is the bigger question. I'm just once I know you can hear me, I'm gonna start. Okay. Good. Okay, so first things first, gonna merge that down, convert this to editable poly. And then the thing that I think you were forgetting, and I let me turn it off because that's gonna, or at least mute it, because um, I think what you were kind of forgetting, and I said attach, but this button right here, and I think on yours it's like down here in this area, but you need to do attach, and I usually hit the button to the right of it because it pulls up this window, and I can just basically attach everything that's visible. And yes, I want to match material IDs to material because that okay, so that's still just attached. So I might do a thing, depending upon whether you want me to. There is kind of a way to do what you wanted. I have him up, yeah. We'll see what we want to do, but first things first. Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so all of these are the different borders that he has. Like I said, I attached everything. I'm just going to turn around and that's so this is the weld button. Why is my chat not up? Hold up the chat. This is the weld button, and this is the button next to it, this little like square thing. That pulls up the actual window with actual that you can put numbers into. I'm just gonna put it at like super small so it attaches the way it's supposed to. Try border again. Hey, there's still a couple that we will probably have to merge ourselves. Completely separate. I'm gonna move. I suspect, yeah. Oh, it is sort of attached. Okay, that's weird. That board. Might be. Not necessarily sure how I feel about it. Let's see. That out. Not quite that much. What I'm doing here is this one doesn't quite attach the way that I want it to attach. So what I'm doing instead is capping the back of it because this piece isn't really attached at all. I'm gonna cap the back of it, and then I just extruded it so it goes a little bit deeper into the body. That's what this extrude tool does. That'll keep it so that when you smooth it down and it kind of shrinks a little bit, it won't be as much. So about those are probably ones that just need to be merged and got missed. these two vertices. That looks like a spot where I look on here. It's just it would have been a hole in the neck. So instead, I'm going to merge them down. Going to merge them down. That's where it's coming into. Okay. Yeah, I'm basically just taking, you know what? Probably cap. Let me see whether that did anything. I just capped everything left. Let me see if that does any weirdness. I think it did. Anything in any of the holes that are there. Oh. I'm being super careful. The cap holes, basically what it does, it puts a polygon like in wherever the borders are when we use the borders like that. The issue comes down, as you saw, if you've got like the weird holes, because when you saw them originally, like it had like lines all the way around them. If we'd done it then, it would have just made a mess of things. But here, like I said, I don't see it doing anything, and capping the holes like this is a quick way to make sure that everything's filled in. There's not any empty places anywhere on the model when you go to smooth it out. So that's that part that you were having issue with. You mentioned wanting to see about these. So there's a way to so there isn't exactly a way sorry if I'm double talking, but there isn't exactly a way to do it exactly the way they look like in the anime. But I can sort of cheat here a little bit and do the lines a different way. What I'm about to do is a little bit complicated, and I don't blame you if you don't want to do this yourself, but since I'm looking at it anyway and doing this anyway, I'd rather just do it because I know how. And like I said, sorry, I just saw your message to me. No, I do not. If you need to know what exactly I'm pressing, I'm doing some Control Z's, but I'm not doing mostly anything besides the mouse click. If there's something that I'm going too fast or that you didn't understand, please tell me. Like I said, I'm kind of doing what I'm doing with the armor. Like I said, this is a little bit complicated, and I don't blame you if you don't want to fuss with it. But like I said, I'm just gonna do it because I know how. Let me grow this out. So what I've essentially done here is, I know just from testing a little bit while I was waiting, select ID means you select, like, the model has different ID numbers associated with what textures it's supposed to load. And so all the green armor bits actually have their own separate texture in game. So like I said, I did a little bit of testing and found out that the texture that I wanted to do this with is ID number 3 on the model. So that allows me to just quickly select the area I want to select. This grow button right here, you can see grow, shrink. It just grows or shrinks the selection of polygons. I'm doing it here because it'll allow me to kind of modify some of the lines without being completely detached from the stuff around it. And then I'm about to, yeah. I'm about to do this, which is hide unselected. You'll see like that. It basically just, the stuff that's not selected isn't deleted. It just, you don't see it for right now. It gets it out of the way while we're fussing with the model. That way I don't have to. Yeah, I thought not. It's not gonna be that easy. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping to get rid of the interior pieces because it'll make it easier if I don't have to deal with them either. Could do it that way. So basically, like I said, it's not deleting anything. It's just hiding it so I don't have to deal with it while I'm trying to do this because this is a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit complicated. I'm going to very quickly, hopefully, I say quickly, but I'm going to hide the underside of that. Just to simplify things so they're not in my way while I'm trying to. Okay, I'm just not going to bother with that one then. These, what I'm going to be doing, these lines right here, I can use these to kind of make little indents in just a second, but in order to do it, because if I do it without doing what I'm about to do, it's going to make things a little bit frustrating. So I'm trying to get rid of all these like little cross lines that are here. And I'm just going to move them. The nice thing about editable polygon is with an editable mesh, it's based on triangles. With editable poly, it's based on polygons, which are which can be as many things as we want them to be. So even the triangles still exist in the model, but it's dictated by other factors, and I didn't want to do that. That was me undoing because I selected the wrong thing. Zooming in. That should be good and not doing that last row. Just to give me space. Oh no, I do need to do that one. Point of me throwing it was so like. Oh, well, I can do the at least that. Wireframe, there we go. One side and kind of show what I'm trying to do. All right. So I'm about to show a couple of tools real quick. Like I said, they really shouldn't be. So ring is a tool that does everything like in a line parallel to whatever you have selected as far as edges. And then loop is everything that's like connected in a circle. Now, it wouldn't have worked right with those other edges or those other edges, which is why I removed them here. Turn this back to realistic so we can see doing. It's a little big. And this is what I mean by like I completely understand if you don't even want to mess with this because this gets annoying. This gets annoying quickly. What I've basically done, the chamfer tool like does, like you see here, it makes lines, just kind of pushes out additional edges parallel to the ones that you had. And then I'm gonna loop these again. Loop the center ones. Down. And as you can kind of see here, it allows me to add the little ridges. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna unshrink it for right now. I just Control Z because I want to shrink the arm ones at the very least down about the same percentage so they're the same depth. Like I can control the I can control how much they're chamfered, but I can't control how much they're sorry. Can't control how much they shrink in. Move those. Actually, before much further than that. So this just to kind of show you what I was talking about. See, I hit the loop button and it doesn't do anything with this one because these other triangles are in the way. That's why I'm removing it. It's tedious, but it saves a lot of time because otherwise you have to select them every single time and you have to select everything every single time and it's just annoying. And it also won't chamfer right, like I'll show you here. You can kind of see looks okay, but let me get in real close here. You see that weird star looking thing? Like that's what would happen with those triangles in place. It's really, really frustrating. So it's better just to remove the additional edges because it'll ignore those. It basically auto populates the triangles after the fact, but it doesn't like. I don't know how to really explain it honestly. It's just easier. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Just makes your life easy. And anything you, as you've no doubt learned by now, anything you can do to do that is helpful. That'll be annoying. Ooh. Okay. That's gonna be frustrating. I will fix that. And that side in just a second. That's nothing. So what I'm gonna do, that's gonna be a pain. I'm gonna have to do that. I see it on here. Yes, okay. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is this. I'm going to shrink all, and I am completely cheating, but I can get away with it because of how this model is designed. So that way. That's why it's not letting. Totally cheating. I realize that, but it does what I want it to do. So those we should be able now to, not that one, that one. All 6 of the arm ones selected. We can actually, hold on. Let's see. Not that much, but that actually allows me to do a number. Yes. Let me see, 95. Let me see how that looks. Realistic. That look okay. Passable. So that's that side. Hide those because they're done. This is gonna be annoying because extra stuff at the back. I'm gonna do this. So I'm again. This is gonna be me doing a thing, but I'm gonna hit this detach button, and that's gonna separate it back again from everything else, which lets me do this, and I can just re-weld it when I get it back, and that removes all that extra in the middle. So I'm not trying to do all this craziness. All these edges. And again, it's going to be the same thing again. just going to be removing all of these like slash X's, and you can see the ones I'm selecting. You can see them down here. This is what they actually look like in practice. Just easier to select them like this because I can select multiple of the little cross things at a time. Huh. That's a thing. Ooh. Okay. I thought so. I knew that looked weird. Okay. Move this a bit further from my. Oh, no. And like I said, I know this part's tedious, and it's something you will probably never bother to do, but I'm gonna do it. That's what I wireframe. That's a little odd. That is not what. Excellent. Looks all together. It's not. Like I said, we broke it apart, but now we've put it back together. So yeah, that's how. That was a way I discovered do those little ridges type deal. Shishami. That one should be ready to. Don't know how necessarily it'll work with your method, but it does seem to be holding up to the one native to me. That's somewhere. Trying to now figure out where that weird thing on his neck came from when I go there. That's yeah. This is what was happening with the board. That being said, back one. Okay. Oh, it's somewhere in that area. Good. What I'm basically doing here is for these ones that are going weird, part of the issue is they're like smushing in a weird way because of how the polygons are broken up. So what I'm doing is I'm actually connecting. I hit weld a couple times there. That was not my intention. I am connecting these parallel vertices so that it doesn't try to like bridge this vertex to that vertex when it smooths it. See, now it does that as opposed to what it was doing. This what's called. Yeah. This. No, not unhide all. The biggest part you want to be concerned with when you're connecting, you want to make sure to get these corners. They're what's causing those issues when it's smooth. Oh. Yeah. Everything now seems to be in order, and his neckline's attached. Everything should be good to go. Those are nice and thick. Okay, so that's Shishami. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna make sure save as. I'm gonna do straight to the mega here. We can make Go straight there. And that should be it for him. I'm gonna flip over to the other dude. If you have any questions about that, I know, like I said, the arm thing especially is just a pain. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna flip over to Sorbet and show that one off. I know it was about the skirt. Skirt and cape. Yeah, couldn't see this. I know there was multiple things. So start with the skirt actually easier. So for this, it's actually a little bit easier to do when it's separated into pieces. Ups down and poly. Okay, cool. So it's easiest to do with the thin areas, especially how Xenoverse works. Instead of welding them right away, the easier way, like here, is to leave them separated, and you're going to select by element. It's like this is the outside edge, this is the inside edge. I think there's actually here, but we're not going to worry about that. So what we're doing here, let's flip over to editable polygon, and we're going to extrude. I think negative. No, it's that one. Nope, it was negative. I was right the first. Local. Okay, that's why I was having issues. I don't like that lip. Okay, so for his, I might do this. Gonna hide. Element is like this element. Oh, wait, no. Like that. Okay, that's what I want. Hide unselected, so can't fuss with anything else. That looks creepy. Then I'm gonna weld all of this normal level. There we go. So this is all one element now. Gonna go back to over here and extrude it like I was. No. Better, but also no. 2, 0, 2. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Whoops. I hit bevel and was really confused. Unhide all. And to see, this is how I did the skirt on Kale. And for this, even every, probably get away with a super thick skirt just to make sure that it goes the way we want it to. And now we can weld the rest of this. And as you can now, all one element. Like I said, that's the quickest way that I know of for these. And it, like I said, it's a lot easier to do it that way than trying to do it after you've already welded it, because it can be a pain that way. Because if you do it that way, you have to select the piece and select the polygons by hand, and that's just not worth the trouble. It's much easier to do it before you've welded everything together while it's still separated. So, all right, so that's that bit. Let's do the cape real quick before we start welding everything together. question is this. Now, the other advantage of doing this first this way is sometimes, especially with these super thin pieces, when you weld the chunks together, sometimes the chunks don't want to weld the way that they really should be welded. What'll happen sometimes is like if there's a line through the center of the model, like the inside will connect with of the split will connect with the outside of the split on one half and then the reverse on the other half. So you'll end up with this weird thing where it like connects this half of it this way to this half and then loops around like a crazy eight. It's bizarre looking and it is a pain in the butt. So that's another reason why you want to do this here, because the extrusion actually puts enough separation from between the front and back pieces so it doesn't do that. That being said, this is going to have an additional complication because the element, I'm alt selecting all these additional polygons here because it's decided it's going to be a separate element, and like it decided for some reason that those needed to be separated, but I'd rather it be consistent. Move all that. I'm okay with all of the bottom being selected or none of it, but it's easier just to have none of it. So I'm gonna do it again. 5. What the heck is render to texture doing up? Did I hit a button? No, go away. Bad. Good. 5. Okay. Actually, let's do less for the backspace. The stupid wireless keyboard. All right. And that's the cape. One. We'll attach all the pieces. There. I click that one and shift click to that one to select them all. That. Put everything together. Borders are in place still. That. Yeah, it did the thing that I was talking about, that weird like rendering issue. That's what happens when you got the really thin pieces like I was talking about, and they decide they're just a butt, and they're too close together because it was attaching front pieces to back pieces, and I don't want that. Merge this first because it's trying to weld in a weird way. Ah, that's why. Back piece. This. these again. Oh, all the board. Weird when I mesh smooth it. Fix the ones that I don't like. I am just inundated with spam. Inundated. Okay, so that looked okay. That looks okay. Weird. That's a bit. Oh, that eyepiece. That's good. Yeah, that. Um. Hmm. That's the thing about sort. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a glass scouter. It's also a scouter. I don't know that you necessarily want that. I don't know if how much you're still paying attention. My question to you is, do you even want the glass piece on the scouter? Um, because my suggestion would be to just leave the glass off and maybe add a piece later, because if you 3D print that, it's just going to be a solid piece and you're just going to have to paint over it or cut it off. And it's just, and I'm thinking it might just be easier to cut it off now. But that is entirely up to you. And I'll kind of give you a minute before I just start doing things. This would be actually do this while I'm waiting. I think I may have dumb fixed. What I was noticing with the mesh, it would be I had done them as two separate pieces. Shouldn't do that. I'm seen some of the messages in the chat. I saw the one about the buttons to press and able to review the thing. Oh, it's being weird. I kind of got both up on my phone, so it doesn't really matter which one you're using. I noticed it was doing some weirdness because I had them as separate pieces. Okay. Root it forward? I mean, I can extrude it forward. That's fine. I'm just a little bit. Good. So this right here, just to explain this, this is ignore back facing, and what this means is, for example, it basically does that. That ignore back facing, basically just everything that faces the front. That. Yeah, that's that. Center. For the clear resin, I'm not necessarily sure about that. I looked into some different clear resins for my own cap. But I wasn't able to get a clear as far as like a clear idea of what it could and couldn't get away with. A bit better. Where I want you to go. I mean, that depends upon your 3D printer. Usually what you can do is like here this model you can see is like 53 units, and you can set the units. Big, and you can shrink it down or grow it depending upon how big you want it. And just separate it off. As far as the clear resin goes, I feel like in this case, you're, because it depends upon how expensive it is. If it's super duper expensive, yeah, you're gonna want to do the cheaper material for the rest. But if it's just as expensive, it's honestly easier just to do it all in one shot. Because the more, it's less chance of things breaking off, less chance of problems, that sort of. Um, that should be a setting on your printer, because it the program doesn't necessarily care what the units are. You can set, because like here, like I said, there's, if you hit this little toolbox thing over here, there's a option for measurement, and you can decide, like, this whole model is 53.975 units wide. You can just decide what you want that unit to be. Most 3D printing applications I've used have allowed me to decide upon that after the fact, but I don't necessarily know for yours. Yeah, if it's the same price, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't even fight it. Print it all in the same material. Saves you the hassle, frankly. So, yeah, even super go, which is what I used, is it's a thing. There's always a possibility it's gonna break off. It's just not worth it most of the time. The whole model, because like I said, no matter what method you use to attach the scouter once you've printed it, you're relying like on the super glue, on whatever, to hold it in place, which I mean is what I did with my scouter with Tarball. But to be fair, with Tarball, I knew from the get-go that I was going to be attaching. I had the scouter before I had the head ready, so I knew beforehand it was going to be a separate piece. um but then you've also got to deal with here, the scouter is intended to just kind of model over his ear, like, let's see. Oh, and you can kind of see like that edge on the scouter is flat, But if I hide this, you can see there's not an indent where the scouter would be. So you're essentially like it's not gonna look as good as it would if you just left it on there like it is. Um, like I said, my justification would I would absolutely keep it all as one piece. Let me undo because I. Uh, yeah, I can see the black showing the best details for a number of reasons. That might, that might be good too. Oh, ooh, that's yeah, I can see. Like I said, this is gonna be a little bit more sturdy. Try not to make the scouter too thick, because even with the clear, it's not gonna be that translucent if it's too thick. But that should be sorbet. Does is Um, that being said, one thing I'm not. It was bothering me. Yeah, the Xenoverse. I think it's. I don't know if it's the other import method or what, but it mirrors them. Oh, that was. Yeah, for this one, it's just going to be too pain. And given his size, it'll be on. It's honestly not even worth the effort. It made more sense for Kashami because he's a little bit bigger and it shows a little bit more, but Sorbet is super tiny to begin with, so you can get away with just a little bit less of that. He should be good now. Hmm. Thing here. The cape just this edge back so his hand isn't wide wider at the bottom. Yeah. Let me. A couple ways of doing that actually. I'm going to paper method. Is that far down? Ah, I see what you. Yes. Like, and that is a different thing. That's best with this tool called bend. There we go. Okay. Yeah, usually with capes in games, they have actual bones for the capes too, but I don't know whether Xenoverse bothers or not, because a lot of the characters just straight up don't have them. Um, I'm familiar with them because I do a lot of mod. I used to do a lot of modding for a game called Freedom Force, which was a superhero low poly game, so it had cape bones, but yeah, that should. Oh, I think I might know. It might have had the keep bones in one of those other things, but it would have messed up. Try collapse that too, and that should be curved. That looks a little bit more. Yeah, unfortunately, when you've welded a lot of stuff together, the element thing can be. Because sometimes it'll connect entire bits. This I don't know. That's the thing. That's a weird way to like. Okay, that's an interesting way of giving him his double chin, I guess. Is that what that's supposed to be? Okay. I was wondering what this was. I think that's what this was, and I was very confused. Yeah, I. So, timeline of events there, I was playing with it, and I didn't realize that's what I was playing with it with. I do think I'm probably going to need to bend it a little bit. I thought it was part of his chin, honestly. I didn't realize that's what that was supposed to be. Yeah, I suspect it was probably on like a Kid Trunks biped or something. Probably okay. At least suggest the edge of the arm. I'd have to do major modification to get it to fit exactly how it used to. That at least will give that shaping back to paint kind of around it. Yeah, you're fine. I noticed that. I was like, that's something about that scouter seemed off. And it finally dawned on me that it was because the mod had it like sitting a little bit too high. Probably because that's how it sat on the like Scouter Vegeta and stuff like that. But Sorbet's head is shaped a little bit different. But yeah, I think that's good for that. Go over Mega Sheen, so it automatically uploads. And yeah, that's those. So, and that should be good. And it should be, oh, well, no, because it should still be on Twitch. I just realized I don't have a copy here, but that doesn't mean that the video's not on Twitch. So I can just, either download it from there or. I don't think so. The scouter would have scaled with the head. Um, I suspect, like I said, it's just the modder. It looked sort of right, and in game it was probably perfectly fine. So the modder didn't probably bother getting it 100% perfect, but it was just nagging at me as I was working on it. Um, so like I said, we're good here. I'll stop the recording and make sure all of this actually saved because I realized I had not. I started streaming but not recording, so make sure that that's the thing. Stop.